Oh, well, hello, everybody. Gator said, hey, hello, Gator. Hope you're doing well. Daryl said, tap, tap. All right. Tapping in. Appreciate it. Well, we got Gator said, did 3 lives today at Gator Farm. Didn't see either of you. Man, I ain't even had a TV on today. I turned them on this morning for to get everybody's views and stuff, and I've not been back on my phone. Sorry about that. Daryl said, sorry I missed the live today, but another 10 hour in today. Believe me, I get it, Daryl. Don't worry about it. It's all good. Gator said on a Sunday. Yeah, we keep working, that's for sure. Lovely said, hi, Randy. Lovely, are you still in the hospital? Gator said, cold front blew through here today. I'm going to tell you right now, it's getting cold quick. It was nice this morning, but woo, it's cold under now. Kevin said, I'm sad, brother. How are you? Well, I'm doing good, and I wished you wasn't sad. I hope we can turn that around for you. Stay into the life, see if we can get to feeling better. Daryl says, I work 7 days a week, including holidays. That's right. I mean, you know, if you, especially if you work for yourself, you know that. You got to get her done. Elon says, remember me? I like the video. Yes, I remember you. Lovely says, hi, Daryl. How are you today? And Daryl said, Gator, Lucy. And Jane said, hey, all. Hello, Jane. Daryl said, tired. Yeah. Jane said, hi, Gator. Gator said, I was sad yesterday. Got pulled up like a Spitfire. Man, sorry about that. Jane said, hi, Pops. Hello, Jane. Lone says, I'm not a boy or a girl. I'm a coconut. Jane said, hi, Lucy. Daryl said, starting tomorrow. Work starts at 6:30. What you going in so late for? Jane says, hi, Elon. Elon, clown, Elon. I know I'm saying it wrong, but Jane said, hi, Kevin. Daryl said, Jane. Kevin said, you always make me happy, brother. Dynamite says, hello, my friends. Hope you all is well. We are. Hope you are. Elon says, is Grandma here? I haven't seen her yet. Jane says, hi, Daryl. John Deere said, what's up, everybody? I'm glad you enjoyed my song, Randy. Hit the thumbs up on my song, everybody. Yes, please. Carl says, long live ICE and the armed forces for the United States of America. Daryl said, Jacob. Jane said, hi, Dan. Dynamite said, hello, Jane. John Deere says, I'm in a good mood, everybody. Hi, Daryl. Hello. Jane said hi, Jacob. Carlos said, sup, y'all pops? Hello, Carlo. Gator said, Jane, thanks for hanging out today. And I said, got chicken and donuts, steak, bread. Boy, bottle fed. He's all got them all under cover, don't he? Shadow Band said, God bless America. John Deere said, hi, Jane, Gator, and Big Boys. Jane said, no problem. Gator, we lost your feed. Dynamite said, awesome picture of the eagle and flag. Well, thank you. We do like it. Daryl said, Gator. Jane said, hi, Carlo. Glenn said, got that bread and fruits and stuff, everything again. Who ordered that? I don't know. Looks like it's be a healthy appetite. Carla said, what's up, Jacob? And hello, Jane. Spartan says, are you in prison? I am not. I like orange. Jane said, Ilana, I ordered the one in the middle. User 55656 says, got you, Aru, or I don't know what that is, big bro. All right. Gator said, Mike, JD, and anyone I missed. Jane says, hi, Spartan. Kevin says, I'm hungry. Johnny said, did you ever lose a race? That depends on yeah, you can't win everything. Lovely said, I ordered nothing but screening time. Lovely. Are you still in the hospital? I know you said you were yesterday or day before. User said, ain't no hose for us except Uncle Pull Up. And I said, did you make a live where your friends is working on something? We did a live today of us cooking. And we want to get back to doing some lives where we're working on the vehicles, but we're trying to get caught up with everything right now. Carlos said, hey, lovely. Jane said, hi, Lucy, how are things going? Kevin said, thank you, brother. You're welcome, Kevin. Like I said before, I hope all is well. Jane, I like that sunset picture. That's nice. Let's see. OG says a people walked into a bar and asked the bartender if he had seen his brother. The bartender said, "What does he look like?" Clown says, dinosaur. Grant says, hope y'all having a good evening. Hope you are too. Things seem to be going good. Jane said, thanks, Pops. Jane said, hi, Grant. Daryl says, I'm hammering out the videos this weekend, and there's going to be a big announcement coming soon on my channel. All right, we will be watching. OG said, we would look like every other penguin. Are you a bartender? Carlos says, what's up, Daryl? Clown's got Angel, yeah. Daryl said, a few people will really like it and a few might not. Well, you can't please everybody, but you sure the hell can piss everybody off. John Deere said, where's your crazy kids? Randy just left to go have, they do dinner at Grandma's on Sunday nights or Sunday afternoon, so he just left to go there. And of course, Justin's still in Charlotte and Stephen's in South Dakota. Leon said, who wants ice cream? I do. Grant says, I live in Denton, but away all the time. I always try to my best to watch and like your videos. Well, thank you. You know we're in Denton, of course, and if you live in Denton, you know where we're at. So if you get back in town, you're welcome to stop in. Kevin said, what's your opinion on this emoji? What is that, Aladdin? Alamo says he's gay. That's fine. We understand. In New Jersey right now. Oh, cool, said Grant. Daryl said, how's the living life? How's he liking living out there? I talked to him the other day, and he seemed to really enjoy it. So, I mean, he seemed to be happy in spirits. So, I guess he made the right move to make himself happy. Leon said, there you go, Pops. John Deere said, hit the like button, guys. I hope my live stream gets bigger. Premiere, hope more people join. I would love that. Hope I get help. Scott, oh, never mind. He retracted his message. Hudson said, do you know who Steve Irwin is? I've heard the name, but I don't know who it is. Alamo says, hey, I'm not the one wearing the prison jumpsuit. Neither am I. I got pants on. Elon says, I live in Hastings. And he says, hi ho, people. Hello. Hudson says, I live in Australia. Well, I haven't seen you in here before, so let me put you I'm going to write you down right here. And we do have a world map. We'll put a pin in for you. Thank you for stopping in. Grant says South Dakota isn't a bad place. He seems to like it. So that's just, we've never been out there. He went out there twice before he moved out there. So he seems to enjoy it. Daryl said if he's happy, that's all that's what matters. That's exactly right. Alamo said he's a gay tard. Well, Alamo City said hello. You know, I wouldn't call yourself names or anything, but you know, if you're happy with it, go with it. Daryl says, Andy, John Deere said, we don't care what you are. No spreading religion or politics. Please keep to yourself. We're here to have fun and talk about cars and stuff. Please. Thank you, John Deere. And he says, hey, Mac, how are you, honey? Memory says, I'm enjoying an apple. An apple sounds good right now. That'd be cool. Elon said, have you ever heard of Jack Black? No. Beth says, hello, all. Happy Sunday. Hello, Beth. Hudson said Queens Island, Australia. I will I said island, it just said Queensland, sorry. Kevin said, you're the man. Daryl says, I'm doing good. Daryl says, Beth, and he says, hey, Pops, how are you? I'm doing great, Annie. Hope you are. And he said, what's the question? I don't know. Daryl says, he plays Steve in the Minecraft movie. Oh, I've never seen the Minecraft movie. Kirill says, hello, guys from Russia. How are you doing? Well, we're doing fine. Hope you are from Russia. Hope you're doing good. Is that a Thomas Built Bus in your profile picture? And he says, love Jack Black. He's a very funny man. My friend says, I just finished eating wings and Doritos. Cool. Joe Bird said, hey, Pops. Hello, Joe Bird. Freedom said, evening all. Kevin said, okay. Lovely says, to answer your question, yes, I am still in the hospital. I don't know when I am leaving, and I also don't know how surgery went yet, as they haven't told me. Oh, I was just wondering, just curious of if you were still in there and how you was doing, and I was just curious what hospital you were in. Didn't you say you was in Florida? Randy and I was talking about it today, was just curious about it, and I thought you said you was in Florida. Daryl said, Gabe, Elon says, welcome to my food place. What do you got? What you want, guys? I'll take a salad. Chef salad, that is. Joe Bird said, hey, Metal, my friend says I dare everyone to hit the like and subscribe button. Me too. I like that. Daryl said, Michigan. Robert said, Mr. Clean. I ain't heard that in a while. And he said, Florida. I didn't say Florida, did I? I said Florida. Joe Bird said, is long here. I haven't seen him yet. Beth is, his wife. Daryl said, I had home potato soup. I bet that was good. I ain't had that in a long time. Leon said, my mom scared me. So what you do? What are you doing? I want you some guy on the internet. Sorry, Mom. Let's see. Annie said, you said Florida. Gosh, UT feels great at getting revenge. Okay, if I did, I'm sorry. I thought I said Florida, but I might have. You never know about me. I mispronounced my own name. She makes an awesome potato soup. I'd like to try that sometime. Joe Bird said, I wanted to thank Long for the stickers. My friend said, grandkids going home. Joe Bird said, Annie, roll tide. Beth said, he's at Minerals Minards, Long Ridge. Freedom said, homemade battles, amen. Yeah. Dean said, howdy, sir. Hello, Dean. Hope you're doing well. Joe Bird said, okay, Beth, thanks for letting me know. And he said, this is karma for hating on me. The Yanks and calling y'all call them. I wasn't hating, I just made a joke. Daryl said, he's at McNerd's. Lowe's is better. Hugh said, hello, Randy. Hello, Daryl. Beth said, Joe Bird, I'll tell him. Daryl said, Hugh. Hugh said, hello, Annie. Joe Bird spelled it out in all capital letters. Annie says, what do you mean, roll tides? Annie said, hey, Hugh. Hugh says, hello, Joe. Joe Bird said, hey, Hugh. Hugh said, hello, Dean. L Big says, I have an 86 IROC. I would love to get fully restored, but I don't know, Jack, on where to get started. Man, I'd like to have that car. We sold one, and that's basically got us on what started what we're doing here. I don't know what to tell you other than search it out and start making sure everything's good and try to find the worst thing and start there. He said, hello, Freedom. My friend said my 2007 GMC Sierra has 220,000 miles, but it still runs good. Should I buy a new truck? I say no. You got a 2007, that was for a bunch of BS started, and it's only 220,000 miles. That truck is good for another 150,000 every bit of it, unless you're having trouble. I'd keep it. Dean said, I'm about to flip the side by side today. I think Bucky's rubbing off on me. You better be careful. It will. Daryl said, not McNerds, it's McNerds. Daryl says, hello, Beth. Hello, my friends, and hello, lovely. Joe Bird said, Annie, I'm in Alabama. I'm a Alabama fan. Freedom said, hi, Grandpit. Daryl said, save money first, Rakan. Annie says, you, all of us said you hate them dang Yankees. Maybe not like that, but it meant that. No, I just made a joke. Don't take it personally. I just made a joke. Joe Bird said, Annie, I don't hate the Yankees. I don't either. I just made a joke about them. A lot of people come down here from up north, and them coming here is not the problem at all. But they come down here because the life's better or easier or not as like an uptown rat race. Then when they come down here, they want to change everything here like they did there, and that's the whole reason they're coming here. That's all. I just made a joke. Hugh said, hello, John Deere. Hugh said, I would put an engine and transmission in an 07 before I bought this new garbage. And me too, Hugh. Daryl said, my 05 Hummer has 398,000, still runs good. And runs just like a Jeep. Hugh said, hello, Jane. Hello, Carlo. My friend said, thanks, Grand. Diesel says, I got a 98 Cummins with a 208,000 on it on the uncracked dash. Dang, that's hard to believe. I'm way behind. I'm going to have to catch up. Jay said, I got a GMC HT 2500 with 6.6 turbo, 2-oil, 8-foot bed with 200,000 miles on it. Randy's got a 2006 with 200 some on it. My 2002 Duramax diesel has 180 on it, I think. So I'd keep the truck. Jay said 2002. Lovely says, I want to be able to go back to school on Monday, but I can't. Jane said, hi, Hugh. Hugh said, hi, hello, Mike. Freedom says, how's the Tide doing in the portal? AU lost their BQ to Ole Miss. Joe Burr said, hey, Jane. And he said, it's okay, Pops. I just don't dog on you for Southern accent. My husband being from Kentucky, I pick on him too. I just don't want to upset you. I just like picking around. Jane said, Annie, I'm a Yankee. Now I'm beginning to see the problem. Just playing, Jane. Big says, where are you located? I'm in Orlando. If you're talking to me, we're in Denton, North Carolina. Gator said, same in Florida. Florida, not Florida. Jane said, hi, Joe. My friend said, Northerns can be rude. Yes, they can. I moved it now. I got to find where I'm at. There it is. Texas says, I tried being a Democrat and liberal, but heard I just wouldn't fit. My head wouldn't fit up my ass. I don't understand. And he said, I'm also a Yankee. That's why I give people Pops hell. Hugh said, Mike, we received the stickers. Thank you. Jay said, it's the same here. Ha ha. I tell them we don't care how you did it up north. Yeah. Jane says, I know, Annie, have at it. Jay said, fantastic job. Daryl says, I'm I'm a Buckabilly, born up north, raised down south, landed back up north, and plan to move south. Yeah, he's coming down here to the closer to Never Done Project soon. Jay said, you're keeping up with the comments. I'm trying. I'm a little bit behind. Jane said, hi, Freedom. Jane said, hi, Jay. Jay's laughing. Freedom says, hi, Miss Jane. Jane said, Annie, Pops picks at me all the time. I do. Sometimes I'm afraid I'm going to get a text after the live where I've made her mad, but I hope not. Jimmy said, best snacks. Today we went and picked up something, and I got a Fifth Avenue and some Pringles. Matter of fact, I think the Pringles are still back here on the desk. I ain't even finished them. And he says, excuse me, honey, we're not the problem. Okay. Okay. You keep telling yourself it not. Let's see. What if you're not, just asking, what made you come south? Yosef said, is that a Impala in the background? Yes, that is Grease Spot Garage. It's called Pandora. Metal Art Customs painted it. You ought to check out the channel. They got it all about it. He's redoing it right now. Joe Burr said, I might found me another project. Cool. What you looking at? Annabelle said, your trouble making kids is the funny problem. I ain't got no problem making kids. Fuck Congress says, do you wear high vis every day? I wear yellow high vis when I work at the railroad, and when I'm here at the shop, I wear orange. Orange is what I like. It's got our logo on it, so this is what I pretty much wear. I've got a bunch of them. I wear it about every day. But yes. Freedom said, God's country. Lucy said, yo, SpongeBob. Hello, Lucy. John Deere said, I'm back. Joe Burr said, hey, Jacob. Jane said, yo, so the blue one is a Biscayne. That's right. Thank you, Jane. I messed up. It is not Impala. It's a Biscayne. My bad. Lovely Daryl, to answer your question the other day, yes, I told my teacher about your YouTube channel, and yes, she took it upon herself to connect. She wants to start a class and wants to use your channel for it. Daryl said, nah, she just gets quiet and plans revenge, Randy. Oh, I know. Lucy says, where's Patrick and Mr. Krabs? One's gone to eat with in-laws, and the other one's still with his girlfriend. So I'm solo. And he said, my son made me come south. That's the funny story. Oh, okay. I'll let you go with that. You got a smart son. Daryl said, she's more than welcome to, Lucy. Joe Bird said, it's a late 50 model car. Cool. Yes, it said, it's a beautiful car. Yes, it is. You ought to see in person. It really looks good. I cannot wait to see it done. Freedom said, Metal, I share your work all the time. Keep it going. Joe Bird said, just don't know what makes a model. David said, what's up, brother? Hello, David. Daryl says, I appreciate it, Freedom. I'm on most platforms. Lucy says, I made cookies today, snickerdoodles, and my own chocolate chip recipe. Awesome. Lovely said, yes, she told me that she was going to use your channel, and I told her, oh, trust me, Daryl knows what he is doing, and it would be awesome to have his channel used in our classroom. Jay said, Lucy, yum. Freedom said, no problem. God bless you, brother. Thanks. 100 truths. Jay said, Daryl, who gets quiet? Daryl says, Law, I'm not saved. Jay said, Batty said, what's up? Hello. Afterlife said, smoke a bowl. I thought I'd eat cereal out of a bowl. Daryl says, I just described 99% of females, Jane. Jane says, hi, Batty. Hugh said, got you on the TV and listening, cooking, running back and forth. I understand, Hugh. I promise, If anybody in this world understands what's going on with life, we do. Jane said, right, Daryl, I'm quiet. Lucy says, I have an audium at the moment. Joe Bird said, not making a model makes a model. Yep. Brian, B-R-I is Brian, not Brain. Brian says, did you serve? I did not. That was here when we bought the place. But I do respect the people that did. Or does. Lovely says, I just text her the link to your premiere so she might show up if she has time. Daryl said, BRB. He said, what you making, Hugh? Lucy said, audition tomorrow for a play. Audition for tomorrow for a play. Oh, okay, cool. Jane said, hi, Brian. Jane said, Lucy, what grade are you in? Joe Bird said, make and model. Are you talking to me about the Biscayne? I'm not 100% sure, but I think it's a bit not 64 Biscayne. Annie says, back, sorry, some made a mess. Did I miss? What did I miss? No, you ain't missed nothing. We're all good. We're just chatting. Lucy says, I'm in high school. Jane, are you in high school or older? Jane is, I think 67, I believe. Justin said, driving home, so just say hello. Hello, Justin. You be careful, buddy. And I love you. Jane said, good deal, Lucy. Hugh says, I'm making a double batch of green bean casserole for me. I can eat that. Grandma is frying a New York strip. I have a grill, and she is making a salad. Awesome. ABCD said, what's up, Andy? It's awesome. How about for you? Lovely said, Jane, I am in the 10th grade. Jane said, oh, Lord, Lucy, I have grandchildren in high school. Salvage says, hey, NDP, been watching you guys for a while and love your content. I just wanted to ask you, don't you ever talk about anything? We don't care about anything else. You have to say boldly. Okay, if you don't care, I don't know. If you want to keep saying that, why do you keep coming back? I mean, you come and said pretty much the same thing. I appreciate you coming and you commenting, but we don't talk about it. We're not going to do it. I would like for you to stay. We don't want to delete you, but we don't talk about it. If you don't want to hear anything else, then go somewhere else. Annie said, look here, the biggest troublemaker. Lucy said, oh my God, really? I thought you were in 10th. John Deere said, what's up, Grandpa Vic? Are you going live tonight? Joe Bird said, Jacob, so here's something crazy. Raccoon said, hi. Hello, Raccoon. John Deere said, I added you on War Thunder, but Joe, but I don't know how to find you. Knox says, what's good, Bubba? The days are good. Warm weather is good. We got a lot of good stuff in this world. Try not to look at the bad stuff. Lucy says, I'm a freshman, but I take a few college classes at my local college. That's awesome, Lucy. I love to see people trying to advance themselves early. Lucy said, yes, I am in 10th grade and I have straight A's in all my classes. Awesome. You said, no, Grandma is mad sick. Oh, that's not good. Joe Bird said, I had a friend named Jacob. W4FFY says, can you say blue skiddo? We can too. Okay. Jane said, Salvage, you come in here every day and say that. Go away. Stop acting like that. Hugh said, I'm just making a video on my new harness. Jane said, good deal, Lucy. I encourage my grandkids to take college classes while they are in high school. Yes, I think that is awesome they can do that. Joe Bird said, Jacob, I had a friend named Jacob. So Freedom said, grandchildren are the jewels in their grandparents' crown. That's right. Lovely said, yeah, I am going to try and get accepted to the Tech Center and Automotive Repair and Refinish class. That'd be awesome, Lovely. John Deere said, I thought you had a grandkid graduate already, Jane. I have 2 graduated and 2 graduated this year. Awesome. We're getting old, Daryl. Lovely says, I don't want to leave high school. I'm glad you enjoyed it because I was ready to get out. But like this work thing, if I could retire and get the heck out, I'd be gone. Freedom says, amen. Lucy says, I love learning new things. Lucy said, I said Lucy, I think, but Lovely said, I love learning new things. Lucy says, I am really big on theater, so I do several different plays at a time. I'm in 2 right now. That is awesome. That is really cool that you do the stuff like that. That's awesome. Hamster said hi. I hope I said that right. Hugh said, grandkids are the way to do it right this time. What you learn as a parent the first time, you can flip them full of sugar and send them home. That's right. Jane says, I have 2 in college, 2 in high school, 1 in 8th, 1 in 6th, 1 kindergarten, and 1 in preschool. Daryl says, well, we here, I have 5 more still in school and 1 in heaven. And it says, tell me about it. I feel old because my firstborn is going to start his first year of school this year. Lovely said, Daryl, I am so sorry to hear about that. Yes, it wasn't good. Lucy said, I'm hoping to go to college for theater, but I don't know if I'll make it. Hope so, though. I'm happiest when I'm doing theater. Well, that's the way I feel when I'm here at this shop. I'm the happiest when I'm at this shop than I am anywhere. Once I get here, I don't want to leave. And sometimes I like to just sit down and just listen to the piece. Randy said Addie starts kindergarten this year. Oh, shit, I ain't even thought about that. Dang. Wow. Gold Silver says Pink Penny Dog Rockets. Okay. See, Daryl said R3. And he said, look, there's another troublemaker. Randy said, hey, Daryl. Lovely says, hey, little Randy. Jane said, they're going to have their hands full with Addie. I believe so. Addie's a handful. She is a mess. She does not like for you to give her sister any kind of attention. She likes to have the attention. Randy said, Annie, I cause trouble everywhere. Amen. And it says, how many troublemakers you have, Pops? I got 3 and 2 grandkids. Randy said, Addie does good in school, but she is social. Oh, hell. I wonder where she gets that from. Jane said, she's very dramatic. Yes, she is. She did good in theater with Annie. I mean, is it Lucy? Yeah, with Lucy. She loves theater. Loves being dramatic, sorry. Lucy says, if I'm home in time for the live tomorrow, I'll tell you how many editions went, how my editions went, and when on Tuesday I'll tell you guys what part I get. I'm doing the Wizard of Oz, only if you want to know. Oh yes, please. I would love to know. And I know you've told me, but where are you located? Is it locally here, close by, or is it? I know you've told me, but I got a fish memory. Daryl said she's going to be a drill sergeant when she grows up. Oh yeah. Randy said he would love to know if you want to share. We would love to know. And he said, "Oh boy, I'm good with two." Randy said, "She's the boss for sure. I'm good with my two, cute though." And I'm good with my two too. And he said, "No, I'm that social for theater. That would be the Olivia and Emily." Yeah. Lovely says, "I live with 10 kids." Wow. Carlos says, "I'm back, y'all." Randy says, I'm not social either." Lucy says, "No problem. I'm in California, kind of by San Francisco." Okay. When you said that, I do remember. You have told me. Like I said, I like to get to know everybody and learn what they're doing and where they're at, but it takes me a minute or four. Lucy said, "Closer to San Jose, no, that's where my dad works. He's a firefighter in San Jose." Cool. Jane said, "R3, you're not social?" Yeah, I didn't know if you'd catch that, Jane. She even said it twice. She took a double take. Randy said, "Jane, I know like people. He don't mind if you ever get him. He don't like people, but if you ever get him to talking, there ain't no stopping." I better stop. I make him mad. Randy says, knock, old man." Lovely says, "Oh, so how he admits that he hates us." Huh? Jane said, "Oh boy, Lucy, firefighters in California?" How did you get that, Lovely? What was said about that? Lucy said, oh my God, this is so random, but my dog just jumped on my and started straight in my face. I don't know why I'm telling you. LOL, it's just funny to me. Haha. Oh, hey." And he says, now that I think about it, only Nick, Liv, and them are only ones sporting here, original hair color in our family. Randy said, "Lovely, y'all part of my family. I like it." Oh, now I know what you're saying. Finally says, "What's your best life advice and wisdom?" I'll tell you right now. Make yourself happy. Do not worry about what everybody says, does, or anything else. You go out there and make yourself happy. That's what I say. If you want to do it, do it. Don't waste your life, or you'll be sitting in a chair at 56 years old saying, "I wished I'd have done this," or "I wished I'd have done that." Go out there and do it. Enjoy yourself. Make the best of your life, and remember, you're the only one that can make yourself happy. Jay said, R3 said he know like people. We not people, we family. Carlos said, "Hey guys, I need some advice. I met this woman on TikTok. She says she is Christian and has a cryptocurrency company and is telling me she can teach me all the basics. What do y'all think? Stay away." I'll tell you this, if she's asking for your money to invest, stay away from it. If she's wanting to teach you to do something, that's fine. But if she's wanting you to invest money, it's just a scheme. Don't do it. Lovely said, is little Randy not at the shop today? No, he left right before the live to go and be with his wife and their family. They do a dinner every Sunday night at Grandma's. Lucy said, does anyone else live on California, or am I all alone? Jane's sister lives in California, but I'm not for sure. Some people come in here from California, but I don't think our local people are. Randy says, I left to go to dinner with in-laws. Jane said, Carlo, don't trust her. Daniel says, cheers, everyone. Hello, Daniel. Jane says, hi, Daniel. Lovely says, damn, y'all have family. I never really knew what family was. Well, you're in the right place now, because we like to consider everybody family, and we're here for you. Freedom said, stick with stocks, sound investment. Daryl said, you're part of our family, Lucy. Carlos said, okay, thanks, Pop. And thanks, Jane. Nicholas said, hello, buddy. Hello, Nicholas. And he says, my hair is always pink. Sherry is either black or purple or both. Randy said, lovely, you're part of our family now. Lucy said, me, Lucy, or the other one. Jay said, my sister lives near San Diego. Lucy says, oh, I love San Diego. Lovely says, I know Daryl, and I'm not related though, but my group home staff always says family doesn't require blood, it only requires love. That's exactly right. You can't pick your family as far as blood, but you can definitely pick your family when it comes outside of blood. And you're part of this group, and we enjoy having you. Randy said that's a good piece of advice. 20 people in here, 29 thumbs up. Lucy said, when's your birthday? Mine is April the 22nd. Randy's is June the 27th. Lucy said, ooh, are those Pringles behind you? I love Pringles. Yes, we went to pick up something, and we stopped at the store. I got a Pepsi, Fifth Avenue, and a can of Pringles. And I think Randy bought every damn thing in the store. He got a drink, some type of meat. I don't know what it is. And it's stinking crap's what it is. I don't know, but yeah, those are Pringles. Lucy said, my birthday is in March. My real daddy's was in March 21st. Lovely said, I wished I would have found this community before I did. Well, yeah, we wished you would have too, but you're here now. That's all that matters. Annie says, I dyed Johnny's hair green from time to time. I'm pretty sure Liv boyfriend dyes his hair white since he's such a light blonde already. Phyllis is always red, and well, my mom dyed her hair brown with a strand of blonde. Cool. Freedom says, someone needs to start an import business here with Cheerwine. Just saying. It's not a bad idea. Anybody want to load up a bunch of Cheerwine and take it up there so Freedoms can sell it? can make a cheer wine run. Freedom said we can sell it together. Home run in the market. Yeah, I guarantee it. Probably just pull up on the side of the road and sell it there like they do on the a hot dog stand. Lucy said, I'll be back in a minute. Got to go to do my laundry. Okay, Lucy, we'll be here. Thank you. And he said, I was talking to Boggy earlier, and he was talking about how imports, well, some of them are illegal. Jane said, what does cheer wine taste like? Well, we kind of messed up with Mike. He had never tasted it, and we had some here. We just put it in the drink machine, and it hadn't got good and cold. But if you don't drink it cold, it's not good at all. But I think it's got kind of a cherry taste to it. I like it, but it's not like my favorite drink or anything. It's got, like a cherry taste. But Freedom said, yes, sir. Katana 6171 said, I'll send you 50 if you blast an absolutely atomic fart bomb right into the camera. Well, I guess I'm not going to get the $50. That would be kind of rude, I think. But thanks for the offer. Lovely says, I got to go. I will be back later, though. If not, I'll see you at Daryl's. And also, Daryl, I do believe Miss Meg is going to be at your live thing tonight. Not for sure. Freedom said, it's like cherry Coke. Trevor said, what's up? Hello, Trevor. And he says, but I don't know why they are illegal and some aren't. Jane said, Annie, there's a lot of illegal imports. Yeah, it don't make sense to me. Don't let them, you're buying the car, you know what you're doing or whatever it is, it's kind of up to you. Trevor said, how are you doing? I'm doing great and hope you are. Nick said, illegal imports? Illegal imports. Emmer Summer said, is this where MAGA signs up to take oh man, really? You about got me to read that. You really know this is a good positive vibe. If you don't want to talk positivity and stuff, just find another live. I appreciate you coming in, but you ain't got to stay. You can keep scrolling. Freedom says, buy American. Nick says, are we in game? Sandy said, what are you doing? I want to return the favor. For somebody who wants to come into my live and say something, I'll click on to yours and I'll make a comment just like you do. Trevor said, I suggest that if anybody's going to be nice, they can stay, but if everybody's going to be rude, they can always leave too. That's right, Trevor. Lovely said, I will stay here until 7 and then I will be back at 7:15. Okay, Lovely, we do appreciate it. Nick said, I'm not sure what he's asking. Hugh said, hard to buy American when most stuff is Chinese made. Nick says, about what? Daryl said, I'm back, but updating videos. I'm listening though. Thank you, Daryl. James said, who you asking, Annie? Nick says, road can be cut off. Annie said, I was asking Pops, but he put down whatever he was messing with. Oh, I was typing on the keyboard. Somebody come in and said something kind of tasteless, so I went on to their account and I commented just something tasteless, just like they did. Freedom said, I concur that with that, but we have to turn back to our backbones. Nick says, yep, he do. Let's see. Lovely said, Randy, even though I haven't been here chatting for a couple of days, I was watching it on TV, and so when I'm not here in chat, I am probably here on the TV. Like I said, thank you. We do understand. We know you're in going through a lot right now, and we understand, and we're glad you're watching. And he said, before that, Pops, it looked like you were playing with a pen. I was earlier. I had my pen where I wrote down Australia, Queen Lands, but that's pretty much all it was that I know of. Lovely says, one of the meds I get every day is a rule that if you're on it, you can't have a phone, so that's why I have not been here. Oh. Okay. I mean, I have no idea why, but I'm sure there's reasons. So we understand, though, really. Lucy says, I'm back. And he says, oh, okay. Freedom said, Randy, and people like metal art are strong backbone to principle and values, especially with our vintage era. Yes, we are. Lovely said, man, Lucy 2 is back. And Lucy 1 is leaving. Team Richard said, hey, boss. Hello, Richard. Lovely said, see you later. See you, Lovely. Thank you for stopping in. We do understand. Banana Man said, hi. Hello, Banana Man. And he said he was secretly writing down 5 reasons on why he don't like me. The biggest one is me being a Yankee. Lovely says, I'm not leaving forever, or am I? Lord, I'll be back later. Federal says, your head is bald. Oh, hell, really? You are an immigrant? Oh, hell, really? Are you a U.S. citizen? Yes, I'm a U.S. citizen. Are you a real American? I'm as real as they come. What was I fixing to do? We don't talk politics. I mean, I understand you got something here that you got going on. You're trying to spam. If you want to talk, fine, we'll talk. But if you're going to do that, somebody or I will time you out or get rid of you. So let's please talk like if you want to have a conversation with you, we'll be glad to. Ross says, are you though your ancestors might say otherwise? Hey, I don't care what my ancestors say. They're not me. Lucy said, don't do politics on here. We just keep it chilled and good for everyone. Up, there you went. See? All you had to do is be nice, but there you had to be stupid. Bye-bye. Team Richard said, Federal, behave yourself. Hugh said, heck no. Let me try something here. Boop. Boop. Yep, that's what I thought. Just made their channel on January 4th, 2026. You can't post nothing or anything like that. So, anyway, let's see. Let's see. Heck no. Richard Ross says, okay. Hey, if I said it wrong, I apologize. It don't matter though. I still speak for myself. And he says, Hugh says, not putting up with that kind of disrespect. Hugh says, hello, Richard. Richard said, Jane. Country Bumpkin said, Raw, how you doing? How you doing? Hugh said, Richard B. Richard said, Hugh. Whoop. And he says, bye. Why are we talking about? They come in there trying to make everybody mad. But see, they don't even have they just started their channel to come in and start trouble. CHS says, how dare someone disrespect the best attitude on here? Thank you, 8022. I appreciate it. Richard said, big boys, whoop. Jane said, made the channel to troll. Exactly. You can't comment. So what I done a minute ago, the person that come in here and said something nasty, I just copied it, went and put it back on their comments. And I'm going to do it ever so often. Just go back and keep commenting on their pictures. I can be one too. Let's see. Hugh said, hey, he has somewhere to hide his chewing gum. Richard said, hit the like. Amber said, hello there. Hello, Amber. Carlo said, Richard, what's up? Hugh said, hello, Amber. Roscoe said, here we go. F trolls. You said, no, we out up with no BS. Lucy said, what should I wear to school tomorrow? My school doesn't allow sweat leggings, shorts, tank tops. I'd wear something besides that, though. Jane said, Raw, see ya. Daryl said, okay, I'm back. 1 hour and 26 minutes long tonight. All right. Daryl said, Roscoe. Hugh said, we are adults here and families. Hugh said, adults. Amber said, hi, Gran. Let's see. Carlos said, what's up, Hugh? Rumple says, hello again, Pops. Hello, Rumple. Jane said, Lucy, you can't wear sweats to school. Hugh said, hello, Roscoe. Daryl said, Rumple. Jane said, Roscoe. Hugh said, Hugh said, hello, Rumple. Roscoe said, sweatshirt. Rumple said, Metal Arts, hello. Sarah Place says, hey, sorry, but I'm lurking. I still have about 4 more hours of work left. That's fine. I appreciate you watching. And comment. Jane said, hi, Rumple. Rumple said, Hugh. Hello. Hornby man's waving. Hello, Hornby. Carlos said, sup, Rumple. Rumple said, hello, Jane. Jane said, Hornby. Rumple said, big boys, hello. Hugh said, hello, Horn. Jane said, Lucy. And you wear jeans with holes all over? Lucy said, no sweats because it's like a Christian private school and we have to dress nice. Should I wear my boots and flare jeans or my Nikes and my barrel jeans? It's supposed to be cold tomorrow. I believe I'd wear boots. Which then again, it might not be cold where you're at. Sorry. What I'm thinking here. Lucy says, I can wear jeans with holes on the knees and below. Hornby said, I hate when phones have low battery. I know, right? You said, gotta run. Have an awesome night, everyone. See you, Hugh. Thanks for stopping in. And Hugh said, God bless everyone. God bless you too. Hugh, thank you. And he said, don't expect Sandra without her cronies. Cronies. Carlos said, see you, Hugh. Let's see. Rumple said, you guys can wear any dress to school, right? I mean, that's what they show in TV. We have, I don't know that word, but uniforms. C. Mills said, you got to clean that crap up. Looks like a tornado went through. Man, I thought it looked good. Sorry. Hornby said, what's your favorite song? I don't really have a favorite song. I like all of them, or most of them. Lucy says, it's going to be cold here too. I'll wear my boots and flare jeans. Kyobi says, hey, mate. Hello, Kyobi. Lucy said, thank you. Jane said, that's crazy. No sweats, but jeans with holes. Betty says, MAGA. Annie says, I spoke too soon. Rumble said, Hugh, laters, TC. Lucy says, I know they are super strict about it. Rumble said, Hugh, TC, waving. Lucy said, but I like that they are keeping people modest. Jane said, Lol, she has her cronies. Kyobi said, what did I do? I didn't know you did anything. I said, hello. Jane said, Rumple, the pirate schools and Catholic schools wear uniforms here. Hornby says, I love Milky Way. Yeah, me too. Rumble said, Jane, for U.S. everyone wears uniforms till high school, then they are free. But again, some diploma schools have uniforms too. Lucy said, my mom is also a teacher, so I really have to stay with the dress code. Kyobi says, me either. All you did was say hi and pissed Annie off. I don't think I made her mad. I don't think so. But Jane said, Rumple, you're in India, right? Hornby said, just put the little ones to bed. And he says, you know what you did? Me or Kyobi? Rumple said, Jane, yes. Gilby said, all I did was spoke to you. How dare you? Hornby said, let's not fall out of this chat. On this chat. That's the way I feel. Positive people, positive moods. And he says, no, you jump out of the and place and scared the shit plumb out of me. Daryl said, going to switch accounts, all right. Rumble says, how many fizzy drinks per day? Pops, soda pop. I've probably had 4 today. And a cup of coffee and a bottle of water. So I use, 4 or 5, something like that. Jane said, Rumple, wearing uniforms are cheaper than regular clothes and can be easily passed down and around to others. I wore uniforms through 8th grade. Lucy said, may I introduce this account to a few of my friends? I think they would really like it. Yes, Lucy. Please, by all means, share around and see if you can get more people to come in. We would love to have people coming in here talking and carrying on. It really helps us and it helps us get it out. We do have somebody to take some of our videos and take shorts and put it on their Instagram, and they change the language to them, so that's over in Iraq. So yes, we welcome everybody. You're more than welcome to. Daryl said, spread the lights now, y'all. Or y'all now? Yes, please. Thank you, Daryl. Hornball said, do you like sleeping or waking up? If I could go and not sleep, I'd be fine. But when I go to sleep, I like to wake up before daybreak and get going. I don't like to lay there and sleep. If I could go without sleeping, I'd be fine with it. Lucy said, oh yeah, and I'm on student council, so I have to stay in dress code even more. Kyobi said, all I did was fit in between the fridge like your son showed me. You just walked out at the wrong time. Daryl said, always share all our accounts. It really helps as well as hype them. Yes, please. Rumple said, Jane, yeah, here is more to do with uniformity among pupil. That's what the authorities say. Nick says, why? Kyobi said, always, I've got to get smacked to work. I already miss America. Jane said, Rumple, I agree with that. It does decrease peer pressure. You have Kissel system right there. Rumple said, we used to be super happy on Wednesdays during school because for some in Scouts, they had different uniforms with accessories. Jane says, oh, accessories, Rumple. Lotus says, I do have to go for now. Sadly, I have a math homework. All right, Lucy, we understand. Study good and good luck to you. Thank you. And he says, yeah, go back to work, you sadistic jerk. Lucy said, bye, SpongeBob, and everyone else. See you, Lucy. Thank you for stopping in. Carlos said, what's up, Kyobi? Hornby says, best thing about having a family is they love you. Yes. Jane said, take care, Lucy. Rumble said, Jane Cassett is it's actually system. It's complex to explain, but yeah, but okay. Nick says, I will try if I can move that. That's. Let's see. Rumble says you guys still have scouts and guides. Read somewhere that they applied for bankruptcy. And he says, I mean, he's a sweet guy, but he an asshole. Some revile. Oh, be nice. Jane said, Rumble, my friend tried to explain how it works, but I'm not smart enough to get it. And he said, that is me being nice, Pops. Okay. Jane said, Rumple, we still have scouts. And he said, there is a lot more hateful things to say to his face. Professor said, I still have the Volkswagen Jetta here, washed up and ready for you. Wish I could afford it. Jane said, assholing is a nice word. At least I think it is. Sounded nicer, didn't it? Sienna said, yeah, I agree with Jane. Hornby said, my girlfriend just bought me a machete? Is that what that's called? Not sure about that word. And he says, you're just hating on us Yankees again. How am I hating? I ain't said that. You're the one that keeps bringing it up. Mike says, hello, everyone. I survived McNerds. Jane said, what is that, Jane? Nick said, loot advice. Don't do it. Jane said, hi, Mike. Rumble said, Jane, see, Kessa is ridged, is more earned, but in due course of time, due to de-sign mispronunciation by some special people, it got muted. We are working to reverse it. Work in progress. Okay. Nick said, full all world. Team Richard said, Mike, whoop. And he said, you told us to be nice when we were nice. I'm not hating on you. I just said be nice. There ain't no sense of being nice, hateful towards nobody. Yeah, what is it, Jane? Maize or a tea? Hornby said, don't blame the messenger. Lovely says, I'm back. Rumble said, where's Randy Jr.? Left you alone, Pops? Yeah, he went to eat with the in-laws. So I'm here all by myself. Daryl says, Mike. Nick said, he is live, bro. Jane said, very expensive car. Oh, okay. Maserati. Is that how you say that? Maserati? Oh, damn. Oh, I wish somebody buy me one. You say that, Jane, I know what it is now. Long said, hi, Richard. Nick said, let's go. Rumple said, Long Rich, hello. Long Rich says, hello, Jane, Daryl, hi, Rumple. Rumple said, Maserati. Damn it, I just said it. Maserati is a car brand, Pops. Kind of pause. Okay. Daryl said, yes. Nick says, oh, key. Jane said, yes. Nick said, probably. Lovely says, oh, great. It's a mod I don't know. Who? Who's a mod you don't know? Rumble said, it has a logo like a crown. Yeah, I know what you're talking about now. I just didn't recognize the letters. My bad. Rumble said, it goes vroom, vroom, vroom. Brother Mike says, pumpkin boy. Hornby said, More Mike said, who's that, Lucy? Hornby says, do you like popcorn? Sure, smothered in butter. Nick said, Maserati is in jail. Steady says, highlight going town channels asking for a fun question. What's your favorite cereal of all times? Probably Fruit Loops. I like Fruit Loops, but I like a lot of chocolate cereal. Annie says, I don't think plush was in Pop's vocabulary. I thought he used found ever mind. I get that mixed up. Jane said, steady, cinnamon toast crunch. Lovely says, Mormac, who the heck is that? That's Metal Art Customs other account. That's Daryl. Daryl says, hello, Lucy, it's Mac. I have 2 channels. Jane said, Lucy, Mormac is Daryl, Metal Art. Never poop corn, nasty, stinky stuff. Only if you burn it. And he says, Buggy is what I would use because I'm a Yankee. Bungie. Steady, good answer. That's the number 5 on the list. Thank you for answering. I hope you have a great day. You too. Thank you for stopping in and thank you for asking the question. If you haven't, if you hang around, if you don't, hit the like button for me, please. But you're welcome to stay. Hornby said, Jane, I will be live tomorrow night. Mike said, Jane, Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Daryl says, I can't stand popcorn anymore when then sauerkraut. Now, I like popcorn. I don't like it getting in your teeth, but I do like popcorn, but you can have the sauerkraut. Daryl says, you'll never see me eat either of them. So don't send you popcorn tin can for Christmas. Lovely says, okay. Either my ADHD is going crazy because I have Mountain Dew because my friend bought it, or I have no damn idea how this guy knows my name, but I don't know who they are. Lovely. Mormac is Daryl at Metal Art Customs. It's Metal Art Custom. He has 2 channels. Daryl at Mormac says, and when Tanya makes it, I can't come in the house. Rumble says, I like how the Chinese made popcorn with that Kenyan like oven. It's fun. Oh yeah. Daryl said, is this better, Lucy? Laughing. Rumble said, oh, it's Metal Art Channel. Oh, nice. And he said, Bushi. Richard said, Long Ranch, did you find something good to eat at the store? Joe Mama said, let's go. Yeah, let's go. Jane said, hi, Joe Mama. Lovely said, Daryl, I wasn't talking to you. Yes, you were, just on a different channel. Daryl's got 2 channels, Lucy. Joe Mama sent 100 for 2 jewels. Daryl says, lol. 13 people, 38 thumbs up. Lovely says, I don't know. Well, if you don't know, I better not go on my phone and send one. Let's see. Daryl said, it's me, Lucy. I'm also more Mac Personal Projects. Jane said, Lucy, who were you talking to? Long Ranch, that's Mike. He's been to help Pops a couple times. Lovely says, eventually my mind is going crazy. It happens a lot. I said, hi, Lucy. Daryl said, hello, Randy. Lovely said, who the hell? Carlos said, sorry, guys. Been in and out, having a bad morning, feeling a little anxious. Sorry, Carlo. Hope you get to feeling better. James said, lol, Pops, this poor girl will never be okay. Daryl said, a lot of us have more than one channel. Mike said, Richard, I went to the hardware store and bought penetrating lube oil, sticky red grease shop, 15%. Lovely said, who the hell is that? A silly little YouTube channel is me, Lovely. That's my personal account. See, that one is Randy, Lucy. See, I got it on here, Lucy. I just sent it from here. Yeah, and it, oh, Lord. Go listen, what's up, Mike? And then I sent to Lucy, I am Randy Pops. Mike says, hello, Carlo. Jane said, Randy the man is R3. Yeah. We all got several channels, at least 2. Jane said, poor girl. Lovely says, and this is why I have ADHD. Daryl said, wait till Adam joins the chat. He has like 5 channels. Oh, Lord. Jane said, Lord, you'll only see one of me, Lucy. Daryl said, and his wife. Daryl said, should I log into Tanya's channel? Oh, Lord have mercy. Jane said, I've only seen 2 of Adam's. Mike says, I have a hard enough time keeping up with ones alone. Jane said, oh, geez, Daryl, she would be gone. Don said, I love big women. Awesome. Daryl said, I had two Adams channel logged in at the shop. Well, so trust me, Daryl, you will probably be able to see how it is later today, maybe. Jane said, that's what happens when we get old. They'll see. Carlos says, Mike, did you send the stickers? Hope it didn't cost too much to mail. Pro says, poopy duty, eat my goodie. All right. Hippity hoppity, hit my likety. Lovely said, Miss Meg wants to hang out with the crew today at 8. I've been typing to get her to come here, but she won't. Pro says, hells yeah, dog. How you doing, buddy? Carlos says, I haven't received the card, Pops. Well, I don't know. If you don't get it, I'll send another one if it don't go soon because we haven't received it back. But I'll send another one, Carlo. Daryl said, cool, Lucy. It's 1 hour and 26 minutes long tonight. Jane said, Lucy, we won't bite. Pro said, did it hurt when you fell from heaven? Because you look like you are in pain. Only when I see your comments, that's all. Lovely said, why is it so long tonight? Mike said, Carlo, I did. They got mailed out Friday. They were only about twice as much as U.S. Postal, so it wasn't bad. Carlo said, okay, no problem, Pop. Thanks, Pops. Pro said, I speak the truth boldly. If that's what you think, hey, everybody's got their opinion. At least one of us has a channel we're trying to do something with. Daryl said, my videos were always random links. I've had some that were 3 and 4 hours long. Carlos said, okay, great. Thanks, mate. Mike. Mike says, I was finally lucky enough to put out 30-minute video this morning. Only took 2 weeks to process. Process. I understand, Mike. Carlos said, ha, Mike. Daryl said, step it up, Mike. Mine are daily. It's my second and third jobs. Mike said, the sad thing about it, Carlo, is I'm serious. My editing sucks. Matthew said, hey, y'all. Hello, Matthew. James said, did you get washer and dryer hooked up? I did not. It's still sitting right where it was. I ended up going to do something else and we done some cleaning and I did not. I need to get it, but I did not. Mike said, Daryl, maybe you're going to have to give me some pointers. I haven't figured out this system yet. James said, hi, Matt. How are you? Matthew said, oh, I've been here the whole time. I just never said anything. Carlos said, hee. You'll get better. Practice makes perfect, Mike. Nick says, we are on channel. Daryl said, Matt. Matt says, hey, Daryl. Matthew said, I could be doing better, Jane. Daryl said, you have an iPhone, Mike, right? Question mark. Mike said, no iPhone for me. I'm too much of a tightwad for an iPhone. GoPro and Android. Daryl said, see if you can download VITA app. Jane said, Matt, what's going on? Did they say directions for your care? Brick. Pops, did you figure out vertical and horizontal stuff? No. Randy was messing with it, but like I said, we didn't do anything on it today, so we haven't found anything else out yet. Matthew said, not yet, Jane. Not too sure. I will probably be out of here before Sean, though. Daryl said, are they getting the infection taken care of, Matt? Jane said, is Sean in the same facility as you? Matt said, been trying to, Daryl. Matthew said, yes, Jane, for now. Jane said, did Sean wake up? Banana Man said, bro, I saw Vegan Teacher live streaming. Haha. Daryl said, vertical, they still push for you to make money. Horizontal, that they allow, but don't push for the algorithm. Yeah, like I said, I haven't checked it. They were saying that we could do it both or something like that, but I don't know how it's going to work. And if they're not going to push it, I don't think I'll be on it. It seemed like a lot for me to try to figure out for something they're not going to push, so I'll leave it like we got it. I did awesome for about 3 days in a row, then it went downhill. I struggle to get 50 likes now. Let's see. Jane said, Sean awake, question mark. That's great. Last time I asked, he wasn't awake. Mike said, Daryl, is that a editing app already? A former app for editing? Daryl says, me too, Randy. I'll stay like this and on the phone is full screen. Yeah, that's the way, like I said, that's the way I do it. Like that right there. So, I mean, but Mike, just to let you know, I really don't understand how Daryl does it. It seems like Daryl does it a lot easier than what we do. But I've learned on the computer here, and I don't do it on my phone. Daryl said, I deleted phonographic. I hated it. Let's see. Daryl said, Phil Orta, whatever. Let's see. Nick said, Dice second, 100%. Mike said, that's because he's younger and smarter. I'm not a smart man, but I know what editing is. Daryl said, younger? Nick says, ha 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 ha. Daryl said, thanks. I think you got one right away. Jay said, Daryl is only 2 years younger than Pops, I think. Nick said, one of the crew is Tink. Daryl said 1.5 years. We're getting old. Jane said, Nick is carrying on his own conversation, but keep it respectful. Yes. Daryl said, I'm blessed to be old. Yes, yes, definitely. I don't like not having Vivo out there at the road. People like to turn around. Nick said Nick is based. Nick said, right. 16 people in here, 41 thumbs up. Everybody took a break at one time. James said, come on, people. Come on, you people lurking. Join in. Let's all talk and have a good time. Let's see, Daryl said you do have all messages on, right? I got it on live chat. I always do the live chat.